You feel me? You ever have one of those moments in life where you just look up at God and say, Lord, for real? Laughs from the audience. Yeah, I've had a few of those. See, you feel me. People look at me now and think it's been all smooth sailing. The TV shows, the suits, the smiles. You feel me. But what they don't know is I've been broke more times than I've been rich. I ain't always had a suit on. I had days I couldn't afford socks. You feel me? I remember sleeping in my car, washing up in gas station bathrooms, trying to tell jokes at night like everything was fine. And I kept asking God, you feel me? Why you got me out here like this? You said you had a plan. And one night, while I'm sitting in that car, I heard this voice inside say, you do your part and I'll do mine. That's when it hit me. Faith ain't about waiting on God to fix everything. You feel me? Faith means moving when you don't see the finish line. It means working when you're tired, believing when you broke, and seeing success before it ever shows up. See, you feel me? I learned something out there. God don't give you the dream unless he already gave you the tools to make it happen. You just got to have the faith to start. You feel me? The hustle to keep going and the vision to see what's coming. That's the power of faith, hard work, and vision, the triple threat that'll change your whole life. See, you feel me. Faith ain't just something you talk about in church on Sunday. It's something you live on Monday morning when the bills are due, your car won't start, and your dreams feel miles away. Faith is the engine behind every comeback story you've ever heard, including mine, including yours. When Steve Harvey says, you feel me, faith is the foundation. What he means is this: you can lose your job, your money, your friends. But if you don't lose your faith, you feel me, you still got the blueprint to build it all back again. Think about it. You feel me? Every person you admire, every person who made it through hell and came out shining had one thing in common. They refused to stop believing. You feel me? Even when nothing made sense, faith is the voice that says, keep going. I know it looks bad, but God's not done. It's what makes you get up after you fall. You feel me? Brush yourself off and say, right, that didn't work. But I ain't done yet. Steve often says, if you're still breathing, you feel me, God ain't through with you yet. That's faith in motion. Faith doesn't need proof to move. It moves before the proof shows up. You feel me? It's like planting a seed and believing it's going to grow, even though you can't see it under the dirt. You water it. You wait. You feel me? You trust because you know something is happening beneath the surface. That's how faith works. You feel me? It's spiritual eyesight, the ability to see the invisible so you can do the impossible. Now, you feel me? The reason Steve says it's the foundation is because everything else in your life, your work, your vision, your relationships, your success stands on top of that. You feel me? Without faith, your confidence shakes. Without faith, your plan falls apart at the first storm. But when your faith is solid, you can take hits and keep standing. You feel me? Faith is what gives you peace when you don't have the plan. It's what gives you power when you feel weak. It's what gives you patience when the waiting gets long. And the truth is, faith doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. It builds your character, your resilience, and your relationship with God. You feel me? Because when you start walking by faith, you stop depending on sight. That's when miracles start happening. That's when doors open you didn't even knock on. You feel me? That's when you start realizing it wasn't luck, it was faith all along. So when Steve says, you feel me? Faith is the foundation of every comeback. He's saying, Don't worry about what fell apart. Don't worry about who left. Feel me? Don't even worry about how long it's been. If you still got breath, you still got a chance. You feel me? Because faith is what builds the comeback long before the world sees it. Now listen, you can't be on your knees every night asking God to bless something you ain't even started. You feel me? Laughs and snaps fingers like Steve would on stage. That's like saying, Lord, please help me pass this test. But you ain't opened the book once. You feel me? It don't work like that, man. You can't pray for rain and not plant no seeds. See, a lot of people use prayer like it's a magic wish. You feel me? They think if they just say it loud enough or cry hard enough, God gone drop blessings out the sky. But it don't go that way. God ain't in the business of rewarding lazy faith. He's in the business of rewarding active faith. Steve always says, faith without works is dead. You feel me? You can't ask God to bless seeds you never planted. If you want God to bless your dream, you got to meet him halfway. You feel me? You do the natural. He'll handle the supernatural. Think about it. When you pray for success, God don't just give you success. He gives you opportunity. He gives you ideas. He gives you challenges that make you grow strong enough to carry that success. But if you ain't working, if you just sitting, you feel me, waiting for the perfect moment, you'll miss every blessing that's passing you by. When Steve was broke and sleeping in his car, he kept praying, Lord, please let me make it as a comedian. But he didn't just pray, he worked. He drove hours for free gigs, told jokes in bad bars. You feel me? Bombed in front of small crowds, but he kept going. And every time he put in work, God opened another door. That's what faith with action looks like. You feel me? It's not waiting for signs. It's moving so your faith becomes the sign. Let me tell you something. You can't sit in neutral and expect to move forward. You feel me? You got to shift into drive. That's your effort. You got to press the gas. That's your hustle. And God is the engine that moves the car. You feel me? But if you don't move your foot, you ain't going nowhere. So here's the truth. If you want something, pray for it. But then get up early, grind hard, stay consistent, and trust that God will do what you can't. Because prayer is your declaration of faith, but work is your proof of faith. You feel me? You show God you believe in his promise when you're willing to sweat for it. And the moment your effort matches your prayer, that's when blessings start chasing you. So remember this line. Steve says it all the time. You can't ask God to bless seeds you never planted. Plant the seeds, water them with prayer, protect them with hard work, and watch how your faith multiplies your harvest. All right, now let's get into keynote. Ben 3, you feel me. Vision is seeing the invisible before it becomes visible. Steve Harvey style raw, funny, but deeply real and soul stirring. You feel me. Let me tell you something. If you're waiting to see your dream before you believe it, you already late. Vision don't start with your eyes. Vision starts in your spirit. You feel me? See, when God gives you a dream, he don't show it to your eyes. He shows it to your heart, because the people around you, they might not see what you see. You feel me? They might not feel what you feel, but it wasn't their dream. It was yours. Steve says it best. God gives you the dream as a preview of coming attractions. He's basically saying, you feel me. Here's what your life could look like if you just trust me enough to go get it. But here's the tricky part. God never shows you the whole route. He feel me. He gives you a glimpse, not the GPS. Why? Because if he showed you all the pain, setbacks, and heartbreak it would take to get there, you'd probably say, nah. You feel me? I'm good. So instead, he gives you the vision first and then teaches you faith and patience through the process. Now, you feel me? Here's what vision really does. It becomes your compass when everything else falls apart. When people walk out on you, when the money dries up, when your plan fails, your vision is what keeps you standing. It whispers, you ain't done yet. It says, keep going. This ain't how your story ends. Steve had a vision when he was broke and living in his car. He could see himself on stage, making people laugh. You feel me? Changing lives, even when he had nothing to show for it. He didn't see the car he was sleeping in. He saw the stage he was meant to stand on. That's the power of vision. You feel me? It gives you the ability to see past your situation and into your destination. You got to understand this. Your life moves in the direction of your vision. You feel me? Not your circumstances. If you only see what's in front of you, you're going to stay where you are. But if you can see what's beyond it, if you can imagine a better version of you, a higher level of living, you start pulling that reality toward you. You feel me? That's how God works. He plants the vision inside you like a seed, and your belief is what waters it. You feel me? So don't let anybody talk you out of your dream just because they can't see it. You might have to walk alone for a while. You might get laughed at. You feel me? You might get told you're crazy. That's okay. Noah looked crazy too till it started raining. Vision is the art of seeing what's invisible to everyone else. You feel me? It's believing in the promise before it becomes the picture. And when you hold that vision tight, when you work toward it with faith, discipline, and grind, one day, you feel me? You're going to look around and realize you're standing inside the dream you once only imagined. That's what Steve means when he says, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. All right, let's talk about why hard work is the bridge between dreams and reality. In that straight up truth telling, you feel me? Funny, but deep Steve Harvey voice, the kind that'll make you nod, laugh, and feel it in your bones. Now listen, everybody got a dream. Everybody want the good life, the nice house, the peace of mind, the success story. But not everybody want to work for it. You can dream all day long, you feel me? But if you don't grind, that dream just turns into a wish. See, the difference between a dreamer and an achiever, work ethic. Steve always says, you feel me? Your blessing is waiting at the end of your grind. And he ain't lying, because the dream don't work unless you do. You feel me? Let me tell you something about hard work. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It feel me? It's the toll you got to pay to cross over from someday. Right now, you can't skip it. You can't outsource it. You feel me? You can't pray your way around it. You got to go through it. When Steve was coming up, he'd drive for hours just to do 5 minutes of stand up on stage. You feel me? Sometimes he didn't even have gas money to get home. He bombed shows, slept in his car, missed birthdays and holidays, but he kept working. You feel me? He didn't just talk about being a comedian. He acted like one every day until the world caught up. That's the grind. That's the bridge. Because hard work is what tells the universe, I'm serious about this. I'm not just wishing. I'm building. Now, don't get it twisted. Hard work doesn't always feel good. It's lonely. It's frustrating. You'll have days where you question everything. But here's what separates the great from the average. The greats show up anyway. Steve says, you can't be sleeping 8 hours a night talking, About you want to be rich. You feel me? You got to wake up before the sun and go get it. That's not arrogance. That's discipline. Because success don't visit the couch. It visits consistency. You feel me? Hard work is also what keeps your faith real. Anybody can believe when it's easy. But when you tired, broke, and still showing up, that's when your faith gets muscles. You feel me? Every late night, every early morning, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway, moment. That's how you build your bridge to success. You feel me? And when you finally make it across, you're going to look back and realize the hard work didn't just change your situation. It changed you. You feel me? Because the grind teaches you how to handle the blessing when it comes. If it came too early, you wouldn't know how to keep it. You feel me? So God lets you work for it, not to punish you, but to prepare you. He's saying, if you can handle the struggle, you can handle the success. So remember this, you dream big, pray hard, but work harder. Because the dream is the vision, faith is the fuel, but hard work, that's the bridge that takes you across. And once you cross it, you'll understand why every sacrifice, every long night, and every no was worth it. You know, you feel me. Eh? A lot of people say they got faith, but you can't just say it. You got to show it. You feel me. Faith ain't sitting on your couch talking about, I'm waiting on the Lord. Faith means getting up off that couch and moving your feet. Why? Well, you wait. You feel me? Because God don't steer parked cars. He steers moving ones. Steve says it all the time. You feel me? Faith is the belief in things you can't see, but it's also the action that proves you believe it. Too many people want the blessing to show up first. You feel me? Then they'll start moving. But real faith flips that. You move first, even when there's no sign it's going to work. You step out before you see the bridge. You feel me? Trusting that God's going to build it under your feet as you walk. That's faith as movement. Let me tell you a story. When Steve was still broke and sleeping in his car, he got a call to do a comedy gig in Florida. Problem was, he was in Ohio, and he didn't even have the gas money to get there. Now, most people would have said, you feel me? I can't go. I ain't got the means. But Steve said, if God opened this door, he must have a plan. So he drove as far as he could, stopped at a gas station, you feel me, and prayed. A man recognized him from a small show and said, hey, aren't you that comedian? You feel me? I liked your stuff. He handed Steve $50, enough to get him to the next stop. That was God saying, I just needed to see if you'd start moving. Because faith don't wait for proof. Faith creates proof. You see, belief is the thought. But faith is the walk. You feel me? Belief is what you say. Faith is what you do when no one's watching. Faith doesn't make the road easy. It just gives you strength to keep walking when it gets hard. And that's what separates dreamers from doers. A dreamer says, I'll start when I know it'll work. A believer says, I'll start, you feel me, and make it work. Steve says, you got to jump and grow your wings on the way down. That's faith as movement. You feel me? That's trusting that God didn't bring you this far to drop you now. So if you're waiting for perfect timing, stop. If you're waiting for confidence, stop. If you're waiting for someone to say it's okay to chase your dream, stop. Faith is not waiting on the sign. Faith is the sign. You feel me? Every step you take in faith sends a message to heaven. I trust you, God. Even when I can't see the finish line, when you walk like that, you feel me. When you keep moving even through the fear, that's when God starts moving mountains in your favor. So yeah, faith ain't just belief. Faith is action. Faith is motion. You feel me? Faith is the courage to say, I don't know how this ends, but I'm going anyway. That's how miracles happen. That's how ordinary people build extraordinary lives. Because when faith starts walking, blessings start running. Now, you feel me. Let me tell you something about rejection and failure. If you ain't been rejected, you ain't even trying hard enough. You out here praying for success. You feel me? Praying for opportunity. But when the first no hits, you fold like a cheap tent. Shema now! God didn't say, I'll give it to you easy. He said, I'll make you strong enough to earn it. Steve always says, every setback is a setup for a comeback. And boy, that's the truth. See, you feel me? God will use rejection to redirect you. He'll close a door because he knows there's a better one down the hall. But if you're too busy crying at the door that's shut, you feel me? You'll miss the one he's trying to open. Let me tell you Steve's story. When he was starting out, Steve got booed off stage. He bombed so bad. People were throwing stuff. He went back to his car, that same car he was living in, and almost gave up comedy for good. But then he thought, if God gave me this gift, you feel me. He didn't give it to me for nothing. So he went back the next night, got on that same stage, and made him laugh. That's faith being tested and proven. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Rejection isn't punishment. It's preparation. Failure ain't the end of the story. It's the rough draft of success. You feel me? God uses hard times to shape you into the person who can handle the blessings you've been praying for, because you can't go to the next level with first level strength. You got to get tougher, wiser, more patient. That's what rejection teaches you, resilience. Now, you can't pray for a big dream and then complain when you face big tests. You feel me? That's like asking for muscles, but refusing to lift weights. Every no, every door that slams, every person that walks out, that's training. That's God saying, I'm building your character for where I'm taking you. Steve says it perfectly. You feel me? When you get a no, all that means is God got something better. You might have lost the job, but maybe you were meant to own the company. You feel me? You might have been rejected by someone you loved, but maybe God was saving you for someone who'd never leave. That's perspective. That's faith under fire. You feel me? Rejection is like a teacher. It don't feel good, but it's teaching you everything you need to know. Failure, that's the exam. It's testing whether your belief is real or just talk. And if you can still praise God, still grind, you feel me? Still move forward when everything's going wrong. Oh, you about to graduate to a new level. So next time life hits you with a, no, don't get bitter, get better. You feel me? Don't say, why me? Say, try me. Because every rejection that hurt you, every failure that humbled you, was really just God testing your faith muscles. You feel me? And when you pass that test, when you keep believing and moving even when it hurts, that's when the blessing comes knocking. Because faith that's never tested, can't be trusted. Tell you something most folks don't like to hear. You might be ready for the blessing, but that don't mean the blessing is ready for you. See, we live in a microwave world. Everybody wants instant success, instant money, instant love, instant purpose. You feel me? But God, he's not a microwave God. He's a slow cooker. He lets things simmer till they're seasoned just right. Steve always says, you feel me. God is never late, but he sure ain't early. And that's because timing is everything. Sometimes you think God's ignoring you, but really, he's preparing you. You feel me? You ever notice how when you order something big, like a house being built, it takes time. They don't just slap it together overnight. They dig deep. You feel me? Lay the foundation, wire it, test it, make sure it can handle what's coming. Same thing with your dreams. God's building something sturdy in you. You feel me? He ain't gonna hand you a mansion if you still got an apartment mindset. Now let me hit you with a story Steve tells. When he first started doing comedy, you feel me? Steve was sleeping in his car broke. He had talent, he had passion, he had the vision. But the timing just wasn't right yet. He used to ask God, you feel me? Why not now? And God said, because if I gave it to you now, you wouldn't know how to keep it. So instead, God made him struggle, made him wait, taught him humility, patience, and gratitude. Then when the blessing finally came, the radio shows, the TV gigs, family food, Steve could handle it. Because by then, he was ready inside for what he'd been praying for outside. Patience ain't just waiting. Patience is how you behave while you wait. It's not whining. God, when's it my turn? It's saying, God, I trust you even if I don't understand. It's knowing that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. See, when you rush, you feel me? You risk ruining what could have been great. You can't harvest a crop you never gave time to grow. You can't expect a blessing that you didn't give space to mature. Feel me? So stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Your story's being written. You just got to keep turning the pages in faith. Here's how Steve puts it. When you pray for something, God either says yes, no, or not yet. And that not yet, that's the one that builds your faith. You feel me? That's the one that strengthens your spirit. That's the one that proves you trust his timing more than your own. You feel me? Because the truth is, if God gave you everything you wanted the moment you asked for it, you'd never learn patience, discipline, or gratitude. And those 3 things, you feel me. They're what keep your blessings from slipping away. So if you're in that waiting season right now, don't panic. Don't lose hope. Don't think God forgot you. You feel me? He's just working behind the scenes, lining up the right people, the right moments, and the right opportunities. And when it all comes together, you're going to look back and say, oh, you feel me? That's why I had to wait, because God's timing ain't just perfect, it's purposeful. This is that Steve Harvey grand finale moment, the truth, the grind, you feel me, and the glory all rolled into one. So lean in, because this right here is the formula for turning dreams into destiny. See, a lot of folks think success is just luck. They look at people winning and say, man, they must have got a break. Nah, that ain't luck. That's grace, let's grind. Because here's the truth. You feel me. Vision gives you direction. Faith gives you courage. And hard work gives you results. When you mix all 3, that's when miracles start showing up in your life. You feel me. Let's start with vision. You got to see it before you see it. Otherwise, you'll never get there. You can't drive to a destination you never pictured. God gives you a dream, not to tease you, but to lead you. That's your internal GPS. It's your soul's way of saying, hey, you feel me? This is where I'm supposed to go. But a dream without action is just a wish. And that's where faith steps in. You feel me? Faith is what lets you keep walking when the road's dark. It's what makes you say, I don't know how you feel me, but I know who It's believing that even when the odds are stacked against you, you're still gonna make it because your source is bigger than your struggle.
You feel me.
That's the Steve Harvey way of living. When doors close, faith keeps you knocking. When life breaks you down, faith gets you back up. And when nobody believes in you, you feel me? Faith says, I still do. Now let's talk about the hard work part. You can't pray for a harvest if you ain't willing to plow the field. You feel me? You can't ask God to bless your hustle if you ain't hustling. Steve says it plain. Faith without works is dead. You got to show God you're serious. You feel me? You wake up early. You grind when nobody's watching. You stay consistent even when nobody's clapping. That's when heaven starts paying attention. Because God don't bless lazy. He blesses effort. But here's the beauty of this equation. When you've got vision in your mind, faith in your heart, you feel me? And work in your hands, God starts multiplying what you do. He starts opening doors you couldn't kick open. You feel me? He starts connecting you with people you never thought you'd meet. He starts turning your little into a lot. And that's not coincidence. That's divine partnership. You feel me? You do the possible and God takes care of the impossible. Steve Harvey's whole life is proof of this formula. He had the vision to be on TV. You feel me? He had the faith to keep going when he was broke, and he worked harder than anyone else in the room. Now look at him. Radio shows, TV shows, books, legacy. You feel me? That ain't magic. That's math, divine math. Vision, fluff, faith, hard work. So don't overcomplicate it. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. You feel me? Start with what you have right now. See it, believe it, work for it, and let God handle the timing. Because when you live that way, when your vision is clear, you feel me? Your faith is strong and your grind is relentless. You don't just chase success, you attract it. You feel me? You become unstoppable because you're no longer just working for the dream, you're working with the dream giver. And that's what real success looks like. You feel me? That's when your life goes from ordinary to anointed. You know, when I look back on everything I've been through, the failures, the nights I slept in my car, you feel me? The heartbreak, the rejection. I see now it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. See, God don't waste pain. Every tear you cried, every no you heard, you feel me. Every door that slammed in your face, he was using all of that to build you, to make you stronger, wiser, and ready for the stage he was saving for you. You feel me? Some of y'all right now are in the middle of your own storm. And you're thinking, man, you feel me? When is this going to end? Let me tell you something. Storms don't come to destroy you. They come to clear your path. You might be going through hell right now. You feel me? But keep walking, because hell ain't a place to stop. Keep your faith up. Keep your grind steady. And keep that vision burning inside of you. You feel me? Because the same God who got me out of that car and put me on TV in front of millions is the same God watching over you. You feel me? You've got everything you need right now inside you. The dream, the vision, the strength, the power. It's already there. All God's waiting on is for you to believe it enough to move. Because when you move in faith, when you trust the timing, you feel me? When you keep showing up, even when it hurts, that's when your life changes. That's when blessings start chasing you. Let me leave you with this. You feel me? Don't you dare give up. Don't you dare quit on your dream. You've come too far to stop now. Your struggle has a purpose, and your purpose has a promise. So keep your vision alive. Keep your faith strong, and keep working like heaven's watching. 'Cause it is. And one day, you feel me. You'll wake up and realize you're standing right inside the dream you once only prayed about. That's the power of faith. That's the power of hard work. That's the power of vision. And that, my friend, is the power of God's grace over your life.